Yes. All the addresses, open house for Christmas. We're going to have no, yeah, it doesn't matter about that.
Good morning, Chris. How are you?
I turned the backlights off because it seemed they were kind of glowing here. The front, I think they can see.
We can see it. I'm on the computer in the office.
Okay, all right. All right, we're good.
Well, yeah, so right now,
One minute more now.
we have to break.
Yeah, I know. I didn't have it turned on. I heard
Yeah, I guess it's on.
Testing, testing.
Hello?
Testing, testing. Good morning, Jerry.
The meeting will now come to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for our government. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, Debbie.
Yes, ma'am. Donna Mosier.
Here.
Ed Weiner.
Here.
Susan Munier.
Here.
Lemaine Nyford.
Here.
Brenda Owens.
Here.
Barry Burgess.
Here.
Jennifer Smiley.
Here.
And Beverly Hastings.
Here. Proof of notice of the meeting, John?
Yes, Beverly, as per your documents and Florida statute, notice was posted.
Thank you. Okay, disposition of prior meeting minutes.
Okay, I'd like to move that we accept the minutes with corrections to LeMay's name, which is a few times wrong.
Just typos.
Just typos. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Treasurer's report.
Okay, our income last month was $84,818.22. The expenses were $73,737.89, which got us a net income of $11,080.33. And if you look to the year to date, we ended the year with $90,575.97 surplus. The operating accounts, we have 156 in the popular operating account. We have $156,023.80. The operating savings account, $30,001.35. The ICS fund is $225,292.01. And we still have money in the Bank of the Ozarks operating account at $99,305.27. And Live Oaks was $6,521.64. Clubhouse checking is $5,968.00. Petty cash is $500, and Players Club hasn't changed, for a total of $524,330.87. In the Driftwood accounts, there's $42,523.18. Our reserves, including all our CDs and the reserve accounts, are total $842,316.94. And our delinquencies and fines, for delinquencies that have, and fines, and these are delinquent but not delinquent enough to be sent to the attorney, $14,662.83. And delinquency and fines that are at the attorney, $33,958.42, for a total of $48,621.25. Now, this was as of June 30th, which is our year end. So next time you won't see a year to date because we're starting the year in July.
Thank you. Manager's report.
So later on the agenda, we're going to talk about the 3 proposals that we have for the landscaping project around the clubhouse. Second item, same thing applies to the pool deck lighting. Same thing applies to the maintenance building, sewer installation, and the move of the wood shop. The library and the card room, the furniture's been delivered. We're done with that room. There is a problem in the library with the installation of the floor. So we're currently in the process trying to get some satisfaction on the installation of that flooring. The oak trees are scheduled to be removed in September in the Oaks Park. And we're kind of somewhat looking to get quotes for full maintenance, weekly full maintenance. We're in the process of that. We have one quote, but we weren't happy with that quote. And later on in the agenda, we have a proposal for some stucco repair on the clubhouse.
Any questions from the board?
LeMay.
The one about researching and working, sorry. The third thing, we're researching and working on what is necessary to activate plumbing in the maintenance building. I thought that was ended.
It's on the agenda. I think Ed asked for it to be on the agenda to talk about that and formalize that we're not moving the wood shop.
Okay. Oh,
It's
okay,
all-
so we're not looking into the plumbing anymore, the sewer.
Yeah, I don't think you guys have made it official at an open meeting.
Well, I think we tried, I think we said, I asked last time, do we need to make a motion? And we said no.
I guess we do have to make a motion, and we'll do that
Okay,
in the respective place.
all right.
I think it's more about the move than the plumbing.
Yes.
You're right with what you're saying, but I think it's more about the move today.
Any other board questions? Okay. Art Committee, Russell Rogers.
Good morning. Good morning. This makes it easy. Anyway, we looked at 23 requests, 19 were approved, and 4 were for board review. We'll take this one first. It is a painting. We didn't approve it.
Can't hear you. Gotta stand up closer to that.
Okay. They can show this to you, because you're gonna have to look at it. We've got copies.
We've got copies. You mean ladies?
You got
No, we
pictures
don't
of
have
that?
copies of the picture.
Yeah.
You got a color picture?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
What about this?
Yes. The colors are not bad, but I'm not sure, I didn't have the authority to review the color combinations and the way they're gonna paint it. I didn't think I had the authority to, or we didn't have, not just me, but the board, to approve this. The architectural board.
Jennifer.
Russell, am I reading it correct that they want to do like just stripes coming up the, okay, because we went out and looked at it, it's very busy. Thank you.
So, yeah, we went and drove by and tried to figure out what they were doing where. And now the color picture, that Salty Dog looks like it's almost black.
Right.
And it's very confusing as to what.
When you look at this picture where you see the black,
Yeah,
I don't know why it printed that way, but that's actually a blue, a dark blue. So it's more of a red, white, and blue.
but the way
You might
they,
want to look at the actual drawing that they sent in. Yeah, because that has the colors on it. Stretch. I was the liaison to the art committee, and the problem they had with this was the colors are on our color chart. The way they're used is what they questioned. I mean, we usually put trim, yeah.
Since there's only 2 of us at the meeting,
Yeah.
okay, we didn't want, and LeMay was there, we just decided, and John got him involved, we just decided to leave it up to you to make the final decision.
question, are they painting the top of the garage door the red?
Yeah.
That's where the windows are in the garage. They're painting around that red and, whoa.
And I don't think that we've never designated a part of the garage door as being trim.
No.
No,
So garage doors are painted a solid color. Right. They also are painting the cement windowsills. If you see that in red?
Yeah, and the rail.
Yes.
and
the shutter that's above their garage.
Yeah, they kind of piecemealed the colors in there, so.
I'm sorry. I personally think if we go with all these,
I personally think if we go with this, it's gonna stick out and look very tacky.
I agree.
I'm sorry, when you looked at this, the colors that are on here are actually pieces of color samples.
And that blue is almost black
Yes, but it is on our color chart
As a trim color.
as a trim color,
as a trim color.
As a trim.
as a trim.
color.
And, but the way, when we looked at the house, it's the pillars that they're painting that color. It's the pillars that would be the dark blue, and I don't know, do we consider the pillars trim? You know, they have pillars on the,
I make a motion that we not allow this.
second,
Any more comments on it?
Question,
Yes, Ed?
is there any designation in the documents that say trim has to be the same color? All the trim has to be the same color?
and I don't think so. I don't think we don't limit how many trims you can have.
But we set a precedent.
This is, the body is gray and the blue red is trim, right?
Yeah,
So the house is gray.
yeah.
Part of it.
Part of it.
Donna?
Blue and part of.
I think that we need to make
And the garage door is white and red.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think that we need to reiterate with the art committee on what is specifically trim and what is not trim. And that would help out a lot too.
Well, if we do that, we're gonna have to use our art documents, and that's gonna be.
Well, on the gable above the garage where you have the dark blue, that would be part of the body of the house, wouldn't it?
no, gables are allowed to be painted a different color. They're allowed to be painted a trim color or contrasting color, but not just center section of it.
yeah.
That's,
And that's what they're doing on all the gables. I mean, the other ones too, they're just painting the center of it.
Right.
Blue, that's the dark blue. Oh, no,
the whole. Oh, this. Gotcha. And then the stripe to the side.
Okay.
Yes, John?
Maybe just to clarify and to touch on what I think Ed's getting at is, and what Debbie's gonna need in the denial letter is, sounds like we're denying it because the board wants one wall color and one trim color. And we've got multiple wall colors and multiple trim colors on the request.
yeah,
Plus they're only doing a percentage of areas in trim colors. We have never allowed that or approved that.
White, gray, maybe red, full colors.
Yes,
Is there any other houses in our association that has more than one trim color?
Yes.
yes.
How about more than one house color?
Well, yeah. I think too, we need to look at the ARC guidelines because they're very confusing and we've run into this many times. I mean, there's no exact statement saying you cannot paint a part of this in the trim color, but it has always been the opinion of the art committee and what is written down there that trim, all trim, like if you start to paint the eave, the whole thing must be painted. I mean, to do stripes on it is not something that is covered in the art committee, but it's certainly not, we have never approved anything and there is no house in our whole development that is painted that way. I think we need to do that at some point. I don't know if you want to do a committee or how you want to do it, because there's a lot of things that are ambiguous in there that you can't really vote on. Yes. But at this point, I would say this is not allowed. And I don't think that trim around the windows on a garage door are considered trim as opposed, that's not trim, that's part of your garage door. So to paint the garage door white with blue on each side and red around the windows is going, I don't think that's fast.
Okay, there's a motion on the table. Can we have a vote, please? All in favor? No. Right, we're voting to, excuse me, we're voting to disapprove. All in favor of denial?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Second one. Driftwood. They want to put in plush pits.
Oh, the driftwood.
These are metal containers that you put in the ground with sand in it. I don't know how many feet they're up. I guess it's so many feet off to make it a real plush you. And they want to put concrete walkways up on either side of it. I'm not sure that's allowed. We're not sure that it's allowed in the back, no matter if it's Driftwood or in the seniors.
So, I went to look at the house and printed off the, audit, the property site, the lot. I don't know where they can put, because their drawing says it's like 55 feet long, where they can put it and still have half their yard grass, which is part, they have a swimming pool. And we went and looked from the front, you can't really see that much, but we went around to the house behind, and it just didn't look like there's enough room. We need to know if there is enough room, and I don't know whether we want 2 long strips of concrete in a backyard.
Do we know how wide the lot is?
It's a kind of a pie-shaped lot. The one side that's the longest is 115.46 feet. But there is not much other land in there. I'll pass this so everyone can see. It's, no, here, let me mark which
The
one.
whole thing's gonna be 46 feet long.
Are you planning on having league play there or something? Just,
It's legal size according to the drawings.
yeah, spring league.
According to the drawing, I don't know if this is just someone else's house or not, but looks like they're gonna put 2 in.
No, I think that was just to demonstrate the lake size. When the architectural committee visited this site, what was your opinion on this in the backyard?
I never went up there.
Oh, you didn't go.
Just a drawing.
So maybe it's like this.
My thought is initially to disapprove, but my thought now is maybe to table this until I can have a chance to go out and visit this site and see if this guy has support of the neighbors. And this is going to be a pretty loud thing during the day or night, I would think. And do we have anything in the deed restrictions that prohibit this?
No.
It sounds to me like he's gonna have a tournament.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do this, they're gonna have a lot of people come there to play.
And actually the length, because you have to leave room for the backstops, is 56 feet long.
Yeah, really.
You know, because the concrete would be 46 feet, but
I think that it could be postponed because he's talking about a contractor doing this and it's not to be done until October. So to postpone it and get a better look at it, I mean, at this point, even looking at what's there, it's not gonna go. Make a motion to table this, Barry?
I'll make the motion, we table it.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Oops.
Just a question. So we're going to ask this homeowner for more information, and we're concerned about the 50% rule.
Yes.
Yes.
50%. Oh, the yard can be only 50%.
covered.
Has to be
Yes.
2% grass. Okay.
I'm sorry, can we still hold the discussion? Is he gonna put it in the backyard here?
We don't know that.
Oh, we don't.
That's why we need to contact you.
I would say that he at the very least needs the
It
neighbors.
says backyard. It's in the backyard.
I don't know how he's gonna put this in the backyard according to this.
That's why we're gonna table it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Burns is tabled.
The next one, Driftwood.
Speaker, talk in the
Oh,
mic.
next one is Driftwood. Jennifer and Barry were there at the house on a Friday morning. They were gonna put the driveway in up to 28 feet, right? The first time. Then they cut it back, and there's a drawing here that it came in, and it shows greater than 22 feet. And they're supposed to be removed 3 feet. John made a trip out there yesterday, was it John, you went out yesterday and looked, and it still hasn't been removed. So it's still not in compliance. The X where the driveway is in, but he has not removed the 3 feet he said he would.
Your motion says they have until August 27th to remove it. I would suggest that we conditionally approve it, but if they don't remove that, then we send them to finding. Because then they wouldn't be in compliance, but that would be my opinion.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments on that? On the board?
Or do we want to just delay the approval until it's removed?
John?
So I talked to the homeowner, his plan is to remove the excess concrete next week. We wouldn't automatically send him the fine, we would start the covenant violation process and he'd start with a warning.
That's what I meant.
Okay, do I have a motion? I said, do I? Someone has to make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we disapprove.
Disapprove or for now, reject.
It was already approved. Well, I shouldn't say it was already approved, it was already done.
Yeah.
It's complete.
And if it is done the way this says it's supposed to be done, it's to be, the 3 feet are supposed to be removed. You have 90 days from the start of the project to be in compliance, so he is still within the 90 days. So if John says they remove it next week or they remove it in a month, there's really nothing for us to do on this.
Okay. So we don't need a motion to.
But I think you should warn him that if he doesn't do it, he's gonna get fined.
Well, I think, John, you talked to him? Okay, so he knows that has to be removed or he's not in compliance.
Well, so on his request, he's showing that he's removing 3 feet. He actually needs to remove a little more than 3 feet. He's aware of that. That's why Debbie put in the notes, it must be corrected down to not exceed 22 feet.
Okay.
Unless he expanded that form, John, when I was there, we measured over 22 feet from the edge of the driveway. And if he removed that apron that brought him into compliance. So I don't know if he stretched that form or not, but.
So when you get past the apron and you're in the body of the driveway, right now it's about 25 feet and 4 or 5 inches.
And he didn't put the form where it was when I was there because it was at 22 feet when I was there. So, yeah, we measured it more than once. So he stretched that form back out then, if that's the case. And we told him that we thought we could get it approved at 22 feet, but he had to remove that apron and put the form at 22 feet. So he's not in compliance.
This is actually, I spoke wrongly last time. This was not approved. He actually put this in after he had done the work because he was caught basically in the midst of it. And they did cut down what they were planning because they were planning a 4-car parking space there. So I think we need to approve it with the provision that the final driveway be no more than 22 feet.
Are you gonna make a motion to that?
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the driveway for Jeremy White with the provision that it not exceed 22 feet.
This one here is not one more left.
We have to finish voting. We're voting on the white one. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried.
This last one is your favorite subject, security light.
Yeah.
Security light, we didn't know what to do with it because it's not really in the back of the house, it's on the driveway. But the neighbor didn't sign it. It says neighbor won't sign.
But it's not aiming at the neighbors this time. The one time we had one that was directed toward the
It's in
neighbor.
the front.
Yeah, it's aiming out to
Can
the
you see
road,
this?
correct?
This is,
Yeah, we have it.
We have,
you have the color?
It's either white or black, she said, and
but it's not at a house, right?
Right off the street, but you don't know what the guy across the street.
But they didn't ask for that one to get.
One of the sons of Schultz, is that the one right across? I'm sorry.
One of them signed, Schultz.
it would be the next door.
Do I have a motion for what you want to do with this, Susan?
I'll make a motion that we approve this security light.
Do I have a second?
I think we need more information.
Okay,
Because it's shining out on the driveway, but is it going to hit the house across the street? You know, or the house on either side of it across the street, since it seems to be pointing sideways.
I
And
think that would,
Patricia Schultz, who signed it, where does she live? Is she on the side or is she the one across the street?
I don't know.
Because these can be very bright.
I don't think it requires one across the street,
no,
just adjacent. So that'd be one on each side.
and the reason that the other one didn't sign it is because those two neighbors never got to talk.
If that's the case, then, so you put a motion out to approve it?
You
Yeah,
need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. She can do her light.
You approved it?
Yep. Okay, now we need a motion for the 19 that you recommended for approval, Sue.
I move that we approve the 19 parks that were recommended for approval.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion carried.
Thank you, Russell. Okay, committee reports. Live Oaks.
Good morning, everyone. Connie
Good morning.
Ortman, President of White Oaks Club. And our board met this past Tuesday for the monthly meeting. And starting in September, the events on the calendar are going to be starting up again, as you might have seen in the TV Times. Coffee Clutch is going to be on the 6th, cards and game day on the 9th, breakfast on the 12th, and the monthly friendship dance on the 18th, bingo and trivia on the 26th. So hopefully we can get all of our events going again on a monthly basis. I do want to insert another comment regarding Coffee Clutch. Betsy Powell is going to run the Coffee Clutch in September, and she's very excited about it. She's a newer resident, but she has been trained by Ray, and she, did not get to do that job due to COVID. She's all ready to start when it got shut down. So she's very excited and has a couple new people also to help her. So I'm very excited that we have some new faces stepping up to help with these events. She also would like to let people know that vendors if vendors would like to set their table up at the coffee, they're welcome to do so if they let us know, so a table can be set up for them. The turnout for the dances have been good and as expected for the time of year. And bingo has had an excellent turnout. The only complaint with that is it's so cold in this room for the people to sit and play bingo. Just have to remind Leonard to get a key to turn down the AC. Tuesday night parking lot parties have been discontinued due to weather. A craft fair is scheduled for November 14th if there's enough interest from vendors. We'll be putting out a notice about that shortly. And we'll proceed with the holiday open house if we have a budget on the spending. And I think we can talk about that during your agenda. Are there any questions?
I don't believe so. Thank you.
Thank you for your support of the Live Oaks Club.
And fines and suspension.
Good morning, Tosca Board. I have a report from the results on 7/27. We had two on the list. The one at 8741 Woodcrest Drive, we chose not to enforce the violation because John went out and checked and the people brought pictures in and showed up they cleared up their mess.
Good.
The other one on 8231 Laurel Del Rio Drive, we chose to agree with the board and enforce it. The only thing that we're asking now is you need to make the statements on the letters that go out more clarified, because the one on Woodcrest did clean up their debris, but still looks like a pig pen. And I talked with John about it, and Elizabeth's going to talk on how the clarification on the letter, but the guy did do what he was supposed to do, cleaned up his debris. But the bushes and everything else looks like a pig pen. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Yes, Jerry, I have a question.
Yeah.
I thought the way the letter was sent out, at least initially on Woodcrest, said he had debris in the, I can't remember how they said it, but I thought it said something about the physical condition of the yard was a mess. So I thought that all went hand in hand at his violation.
I don't know, the way that we took it and the way John took it, we looked at it, it was very confusing. I'm not saying the wrong thing was done, but it was kind of hard to argue with somebody, because I personally took my time to drive over there too, to look at it, to reassure what we did. And he did clean up the mess, but the yard itself is, so just more, to me, better clarification on the letter, I think would help everybody out.
Well, if you go around the back and you look at it from the Bayonet Point side, the backyard is a mess. So maybe you're correct. Maybe I need to get with the committee and have them clarify,
Right.
send another letter, clarify it or something, but the place still looks terrible.
Oh, it does. I totally agree with you, but he picked up his debris and all that stuff, and you come in, so we're only doing our job.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
Finance Committee? Oh, John?
I'm sorry, did I miss it? Jerry, did you talk about the second one?
Yeah. I said that we agree with it.
I missed it.
Chris Dabrowski for Finance. The month of May, the RV lot water bill was $1,852.09, and apparently there was a water leak the county was asked for forgiveness for this amount. And according to the bill, we were credited this amount. But they charged us $169.09 for the month of June for watering. And we are watering this area. Sue responded and said it wasn't a credit, it just showed that the bill was paid. And John worked with the county, I'm using your name in vain, John, and we got a credit back of $1,358.65. So the May water bill up at the RV lot was $493.44. We still aren't receiving a clubhouse water bill. We have a credit still. I don't know how much. The pool permit was billed for $280. We paid $280.35. 35 cents is an online fee. Protection One bill stated we had a balance of $513.79. And we asked why wasn't the bill paid in full? And we were billed $1,027.58 for the month of June. And this is their billing cycle. It was not a late payment. And then we also questioned whether the Timber Oaks website was put in our name, and it's on file in the office, that it's ours. What's not on the minutes is Ellie Manelli resigned from the committee. And I ask that you accept her resignation.
So I move that we accept resignation of Ellie Manelli from the Finance Committee. Have a second?
Second.
And all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you for your service, Ellie.
Chris, can you tell me what Protection One is? You have Protection One's bill. What is Protection One?
The security.
Cameras.
And is that a normal bill, $1,027 a month?
No, it's $513.79. It went up.
Okay,
That's the monthly fee.
Yeah, it went up though.
thank you.
Okay, moving right along to unfinished business, pool deck lights. Who wants to tackle that? Donna? Pool deck lights.
We all met with the electrician, and most of us, I think, are in agreement to go ahead and get this done.
It was Man's Electric,
Man's Electric, yes. So everybody knows.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the bid of Man's Electric and get the pool lighting completed.
Second,
Okay, do we have any discussion? So,
I will vote no on this, and I'm going to give my reasons for it.
Can you guys use the mic?
I am using the mic.
No, we don't.
you have to put it up close.
All right, I said that I oppose this, and I'm going to give my reason. The first is that there's no guarantee, just like there was no guarantee which was turned down last time. Last time the proposal we had was looked over by not only the electrician, but an engineer from the lighting company. And he was asked about different possibilities. And he felt that the only way that for sure we would pass would be with the additional poles. I believe wholeheartedly this will pass, and I sure hope it does pass. The motion will pass, and I sure hope that the lights pass the inspection. And that's my reasons.
Lynette?
I understand though that we had no guarantee from that gentleman either. He was the one that put in the first lights.
Right, and you have no guarantee now.
So we have no guarantee no matter what we do. And when you ask Mann, the gentleman who was here with Mann Electric, you know, how sure he was that this would pass, he said he wouldn't give a guarantee, but in his opinion, he was 99% sure that this would pass the light test. So I don't think we're gonna get better than that.
I don't think so either.
Plus two, he was gonna come out and do his own lighting inspection before it went to be passed, to make sure that it was gonna pass. I had trouble, and I was trying to give him all the benefit of the doubt, but when we walked out to the pool area, and he didn't know which poles he was going to change, my confidence level dropped.
I think we thought he was doing the center poles. I think he decided to do what would be the best solution for the pool lighting. And we never really specifically said which lights. We told him the areas. Now he's putting, for those who don't know this, he is putting floods, double floods on the end lights at the far end of the pool opposite where the bathhouse is. On the bathhouse, he is putting lights across the bathhouse to light that area. The two dark areas were between the end lights and the middle lights. So that area is what has to be lit. I think what he's doing will work. He has gone, I think, above and beyond. He has met here twice with us to answer questions, and he has matched what he can to what is out there. We will not have the decorative lighting on those two poles at the end, but it will be adequately lit so that we can go back to night swimming and morning swimming.
Okay, Donna, I think on your motion, you need to say, well, the amount, but also that we're still gonna need to get certification.
I made the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What is it?
3,100.
Yeah, I'll adjust the motion for $3,100.
And can you say it from the reserve?
On the pool reserve.
Sorry.
I adjust the motion to include $3,100 from the pool reserve.
3181.
81,
And that it needs to be, it's still gonna need a certification.
and that we still need certification,
Okay.
Plus the cost of certification.
plus the cost of certification. Okay.
Okay. John,
And I always have to throw in a little asterisk plus any sales tax.
Okay.
Well, when we were having to go with a different type of light, they were a little bit more in cost, but he said he's sticking with his original bid because that's what he promised.
okay, thank you. Yeah, I know. Do we have a second for that motion first?
I second.
Okay. Okay, any more from the board? Okay, Eileen.
Yeah, Eileen Dunn on Nervista Drive. What's the difference in the cost between the two proposals? Someone up there know?
One is like 7,400, I believe, and the other one is 3,100.
So the difference is,
Yeah, about 4,000.
About $4,000 plus pavers will not have to be removed for this one.
we don't have to, so one will be quicker to get quicker, or not really have to.
I'm sorry, one will be what?
Do we have to have a different company come in to do the pavers?
We're not doing.
We're not touching that.
Well, if you did the polish after rip up the paver.
No.
If we
we're
do
not-
this bid, nothing will be picked up. He is working on the poles that we already have. Pavers will not need to be removed. He will not close the pool. He will section off where he is working, so the pool will not be closed at all.
Well, that's a lot less money.
Yes, that's the
But
one.
the one where we have to move the pavers, is that a different company that would have to come in and move the pavers?
It's the
Yes,
same company that put in the lights before.
And then we have to wait on them to put the pavers back.
correct.
Is
I
that gonna,
believe, Eileen, I believe that we were going to remove the pavers with our men, right? And then the paver company was gonna come back and install them under the other proposal.
would that affect the opening or closing of the pool?
That one would, yes.
So that would, we'd have to wait for the company to come back in here before we could have night swimming. Is that right?
Right. We had it arranged that they would be there the same day. It would have been 1 or 2 days maximum. We wouldn't do the light until we knew the pavers could be put back right after.
Yeah,
But it's moot right now.
Okay, well, it costs more money. It's gonna be a delay.
It's not even on the table.
It's not even on the table, Eileen. The one that's on the table is the Man Electric. That's what we're voting on. $3,181
Plus tax.
plus tax, plus certification.
Well, we're considering that too.
No, we're not anymore.
Oh, we're only considering.
We're only considering the one that is on the table for a vote. That's it.
Which would be less expensive.
Right, right. It's not gonna look like it does now because they're using a different type of light, but it'll be the same color. Hopefully it'll look just as nice.
Okay, but then this, I
It's
don't
no
know if
but.
this is gonna pass or not pass, but our other proposal, then probably the other company. I mean,
Okay,
realistically, but thank you.
you're welcome.
Yeah, Thompson Hachita Drive, I hear a lot of laughter in the back, and they can laugh at me too, because I'm totally confused. We have a situation now where you just said we're voting for the electrician? Did I hear that right? It's gonna be 2 different electricians though, depending on which, well, okay, let me do it this way. We've got a situation here that costs X amount of money where we're going to have lights put in that need to take the pavers up.
That's already been.
Is that completely done?
Yes, it's been voted.
So we are getting, without a doubt, we're getting the lights put in that don't take pavers. But I misunderstood because it sounded like Susan was objecting to that and she wanted us to go with the other. And I have a feeling that I'm not the only one.
She was telling you why she's going to vote no on this particular motion for this Man Electric.
Even though there's no chance of going back to what she would like.
Right,
She's still gonna vote no on this one.
So
yes. She wants it on the record. Okay, Jerry.
Jerry Beers, 3326. My quick question is this one for Mans, wasn't he the one that was state certified?
they're all.
Yes.
certified.
All the electricians are state
So-
certified, but they can't approve it.
They can't do the certification.
Oh, I thought I was under the understanding the guy who's doing this was, writes up the certifications for this.
Go ahead, LeMay, answer his question.
He stated that he had done it before and he had sent a letter with specifications and lighting and that they had passed it on that. Whether or not that will happen, we aren't sure. So to make sure that everything is completed when we're done with this and we don't have to come back for another vote, we are adding the certification in with this motion.
Thank you.
Hopefully,
Thank you.
Chris, you have a question? Comment?
Chris Dabrowski, Tapestry. I have a comment. I feel that not doing with the same poles and lights is not going to aesthetically look good. And that's my concern. A lot of things have been cleaned up around here, and doing jobs over from the previous management. And it's starting to look good, and now we're going back to cheap.
Well, he has looked at different lightings and he's trying to stay comparable to what we already have so that it will still look good and help to maintain what warranty we have. Now, the warranties only last for a year either way with either company. So even if we have the other person do it, the warranty's still there for 1 year. Chances are things are still gonna work past that 1 year. And after 1 year, we're, regardless of who does the work, if we have a problem, we have a problem then. But
And we're using the same poles. He's putting a part that goes on the pole, takes the light that's there off, and puts two floodlights on it.
And
So
they're
we're not-
manufactured by the same manufacturer
Right.
who manufactured the lights that are out there now.
No, right, no, he got different, they're not. No, no.
Okay, okay. I stand corrected.
Okay, Ann.
And those figure 14116, correct me if I'm wrong, but at last month's meeting, I understood that the poles that we recently put in out there are no longer available.
No, that was not what was no longer available. It was the two floodlights that he wanted to buy that were Dabner floodlights, which is the same company that our other fixtures were not available in black. They only do bronze. That's the only thing that was not available.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Debbie, can you clarify the motion so we can vote? Thank you.
To contract with Mains Electric Corporation for additional pool lighting payable from pool reserves to include the cost of recertification and taxes in the amount of $3,181. I did
He
say
did.
that.
Thank you. And let's do a roll call on that.
I have
Vote,
not.
please.
Donna Mosier,
I vote yes.
Ed Weiner,
Yes.
Susan Muniac,
No,
Lemaine Nyford,
Yes.
Brenda Owens, Jennifer Smiley,
No.
and Beverly Hasty.
Yes.
Motion passed.
When we're talking, can I add something to the pool deck lights? I don't know how long this will be. It'll be at least a week, he said, before you can get parts in 5 to 7 days, which is normal at this point. Are we able to get emergency lighting or add lighting where we can so that the pool can be opened at this point for night swimming?
John, what's your reaction to that?
So the amount of lights, not why we're closed because we're not certified.
I would think that it has to be approved with the state first before it can be
Yes.
open.
But, okay, so who are we not certified with?
The state.
The state of Florida. Have we received notification that we are not certified, or how does that work?
Well, when the engineer came out, he failed us for the test, so we haven't passed the test.
All right, so how long will it take to get certified? Does anyone know? How long did it take, John, to get someone out here to test it or to?
So I would think once the installation is complete and we contact the engineer, I would expect to see them on site within a 2-week window. And then the process, once he's completed and forwards it to the state, we're at the state's mercy.
So you're talking maybe a month until we can get it?
I would anticipate a month.
All right, I guess we have to look into that to see possibly if we can get it done earlier. Thank you.
Okay, the clubhouse landscaping. We do have, we have three, proposals or bids, on this. One is, Duval, which is $26,313. Millennium, $16,000.
Millennium's.
Oh, okay, that was 27, wasn't it? I think. Let me just. Oh.
Millennium is 7305.
Millennium is $27,305, is that right?
And 50 cents.
And 50 cents. And the Three Seasons is, correct me if I'm wrong, no, I thought it went down to 24,000, John.
I have it.
I think it did if we waited until October to get it done.
Yes, if we wait with Three Seasons, if we wait until October, which is a less, not as busy season, it would be 24,000.
27, 2427.
427, I have it written down.
24027.
24027. And that's way to.
Yep. Let's have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we go with Three Seasons and wait until October to put the landscaping in the, all around the clubhouse.
I'll second it.
Question.
Yes.
We have, my question is, we have designated $15,000 for this, project, and the bids are 27, 28, and 24. So do we want to do the whole project at one time, or do we want to postpone half the project to next year's budget?
So,
I'm going to pass out to everyone a copy of our income statement from the end of the year.
Can't hear you.
Our income statement from the end of the year to the board, and also a copy of our budget.
And did everybody on the board read the email from John?
Yes.
Okay. Donna?
When I was pulling up the pictures of what plants and everything look like out there, there's some of the plants I really don't think are gonna be very nice looking. And I would really like to see if we could maybe sit down and create our own design with some of the pictures that we do have. And also, we have a garden club, and we are leaving them out of this decision too. And I think that they could be very useful, because when I did talk to some of them, I found out certain plants have to have certain fertilizers that I never would have thought about. And to have their opinion, they don't have a vote, but at least they have an opinion that could help us out in deciding this. And a lot of them have even offered to help give us plants that could go in there as well, which would save a lot of money.
Donna, we paid $1,500 for that plan. If we use that plan and go with Three Seasons, I keep saying Four Seasons, they do our maintenance, and they would take care of them. Are there any other questions from the board?
President, may I make a comment, please?
Sure. Go ahead.
I think that we could, still use the plan, but perhaps, modify the size of the plant, the number of plants. For instance, if there's a place where it says we're going to use 5 of these plants, maybe we could use 3 instead, and reduce the cost that way. It would, effectively, we would still be using the plant and it still looks similar. It might take a little bit longer for it to grow in, but we believe we can greatly reduce the cost of plants if we slightly modify the plan that we pay for.
Thank you, Brenda. Anyone else? Lemon?
I agree with Brenda on this, and no matter what these costs are, 27, 24. I thought the original plan was 15,000, and I know even what we got from Millennium, the first bid we got from Millennium, was for 16,000 some odd dollars, and 531, and that was just the plans. So it seems to me that every time we do something, we go above what we budgeted or what we thought it was going to cost. This is a lot of money over. We're talking 9,000 to go over for these plants. We have a garden club. We have people who are interested. I think there's something else that can be done. And I know that I know that we are ordering a lot of plants so that it looks full to begin with, but 2 years ago, we landscaped at our house, and I have about a jungle out there in 2 years, so I don't think we need to go as large or as many as what is on the plan. I know the architect that came through said it had to be bid the way he did it. That doesn't mean that we have to plant it the way that he designed it.
Jennifer?
I don't know if you remember this from meeting with the gentleman, but the architect. He indicated that he would be more than willing to work with us and with Three Seasons, actually. And if it needed to be downsized, it would be, he would work with them.
Donna?
I don't think we're so much questioning which contractor we use, it's the quantity. No, I mean, I don't have a problem with Three Seasons either, if he's gonna maintain it. I'm having a problem with the quantity that we're trying to do.
Quantity or the quality?
Quantity.
Okay, so let me explain something on the finances. Yes, the budget committee only put in that one category, 15,000, because we did not know at that time how much it would cost. We have what's called a carryover, and we did not spend everything from this previous year, in a number of categories. A budget is a game plan. It doesn't mean you have to do exactly that. If you look at our income statement, which is where we stand, if you look down on the last column, it's on the one that says income statement on the top. This is at the end of the year. Forget income, we're not looking at income, we're looking at expenses. If you look, all the entrance improvements at $4,010 that it did not spend. And
where is this?
Okay, on the sheet with the gray bars on top, look in the last column, says variance. The very last column, well, next to the last. It shows the annual budget, and then variance is the next to the last. And go down to expenses and reserve funding. If you go down to expenses, and reserve funding under maintenance, the entrance improvements has a $4,000 surplus. You go down to, there are a lot of places that we did not spend everything that we do. That leads you to the very last page on this and the very last column. The variance column on the very last page. That is what the variance between what we spent and what was in the budget. And there is $9,575.97. $90,575. It's here. Right? Yeah, it's the second column. Yes. That, of that, if you look at our budget, which is the other set of papers that I gave you, which is the budget for this year, you will see on where it says other income, we were going to use almost 21,000 of the carryover to balance this budget. I am, in essence, what I'm saying, since we did not spend all that we needed to spend, that we use what money we have for a number of reasons. One, we have the money. Two, if we do the whole project at once, do the whole project, it makes everything look better. If we want to work with them to maybe reduce some plants, that's a possibility, but we spent $1,500 to get a good plan. None of us we have some master gardeners, we have people who love to garden, but these plants were paid by the architect to meet the light in our areas. In other words, if it's a plant that needs more light, it's in an area where there is more light, and they are Florida friendly, and they do have color, not all year. Some of the plants will only have flowers every so often, but it makes sense to do it all at once because we have basically dirt there now.
John.
And just one more point that I can make, if we reduce the number of plants, there will be a savings, but it's probably not as substantial as you might think because it'll increase the amount of mulch or sod that we're putting in as well.
Okay, any more questions from the board? Okay, Eileen.
Just, can you hear me? This on? Yeah. Okay, 3 points. If you do it piecemeal, you're gonna end up with weeds in those areas that you don't do. And if you wait until October, you run the risk of frost a little bit down the road. That happened over here where we just did that little garden over by the pool, and that was using some volunteers to do that. And it's not that easy to use volunteers, I can tell you, because I helped with a little group of volunteers that were interested in gardening. And when it comes to the end and actually doing the work, then you run into problems and you have disagreements as to what should go in there. And then, you end up with people, well, I'm leaving and this and that, and I don't want to be on here, but it's not that simple. And then you have the problem with who's going to take care of it. Well, Mike from maintenance did a lot of taking care of it. This was when John DeCaro was here. And we didn't get enough light for the crocuses, and the frost did kill them. And Canterbury was nice enough to give us a break on replacing those, but we still had to pay for them. Now, if you use these companies, they guarantee them usually for a year, the plants, but it doesn't help to put them in and, then the frost kills So waiting until October is not a good idea. You're better off, letting them get started before you worry about a frost. That would be my concern about saving $2,000 or whatever. And I see the one guy didn't include any sod in his, or the Millennial or whatever. You don't have a complete bid there, I understand. Is that correct, John? Oh, no,
John, can you?
Eileen, the original bid did not include solder mulch, but we got an updated bid that does.
So, I mean, I would not do this. I don't think we should do this piecemeal. We did this on La Madeira, and it's still a mess over there. And as far as having money, you should have plenty of money because we never completed these projects. We set aside 50 cents out of the homeowner monthly from the homeowners here, and that amounts to about $10,000 a year. And we have not been spending that money on doing our entrances. Let's take a look at them. I mean, we should be upkeeping the entrances with that money too. Besides, what we've already spent. Now, I know stuff was stolen, we replaced some, but we should still keep replacing them and upkeep it. Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen.
Hi, Karen, Cassarina Drive. My concern is that we sunk, I don't know, 5 to 20,000 at La Madeira, even though it wasn't our property. That's beyond the point that if they spent that much money on either side and that centerpiece, I'm not sure how much was spent, but it was a lot of money. And here again, if you can't keep up what we've already done, my concern is why overspend just because we have the money? That's like saying, well, that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous comment. Like, because we have the money, we should spend it. I would say that you could do half of the plants, put down mulch, and when you go, if they make it to spring, then rake the mulch over where the mulch belongs, and then plant the plants repeatedly that have made it through the winter, because you're gonna have some death by plant over the winter. And unless they guarantee the plants, does anybody know if they're guaranteeing the plants for a year? I see blank looks. Well, there you go. We could spend 25,000. They could all frost die over the winter, which is not a good time to plant anyway. And I would say that it's looked this way for a while. What's, another 6 months?
Well, as to your thing about that too, I do notice that one of the plants that they had in here are like the little red palm tree like things. I planted some of those in front of our buildings, and the first time the frost hit it, the leaves turned all brown. And when you try to pull the leaves off to make it look better, they don't regrow. You have to cut the plant off level and then let it grow back on its own. So it's certain plants like that I don't think ought to be in the plan. That's all I'm saying.
May I say Donna? 1 minute.
Go ahead, respond to Donna's.
Donna, I think you're talking about Thai plants.
I don't know, it's one of the plants that he had in the, right, I'll show you.
If you're talking about a Thai plant, I have a Thai plant in mine, and yeah, it will get brown leaves, but then it comes right back. You don't have to cut it down. It will come right back. Yeah, there's one in the median.
Okay, Dale, I'm sorry.
All right, Dale Thompson, Henchita Drive. First of all, I have a question right now because we were just recently told, some of us, that like Karen just said, the parts of Madeira, out I believe by 52, we don't actually own. Eileen says, yes, we do. Please let us know what is true. We don't own the sides.
We own on the sides where the monuments are. We don't own the center of the median. We do not own them.
Okay, like the islands and everything else?
Yes.
Okay, all right. My other thing is, looking at the plants that are in the pictures out there, yeah, they look pretty when they're growing nice. But I know of a lot of other plants that just, you can't basically kill them. Even I can't even think of the name of it right now, and all you gotta do is break it off, stick it in the ground, and the thing grows, and that's the Hawaiian lei, those beautiful green plants that get the little flowers that they make the leis out of.
It's called.
What is it? Planaria. Yes, yes. I mean, I could get you, holy mackerel, I could get you a whole lot of pieces of that. You stick it in the ground and they grow beautiful. There's a whole lot of things if this was planned right. First of all, there's so much that I'm frustrated with right now. We're worrying about this out here. This should have never been dug up when it was. Our islands look like crap. We should have made sure they look nice first. The picture inside our Timber Times is an old picture of the Jasmine sign. Now, a realtor has it right inside the Timber Times, and it looks like crap. We get letters about our property and how if we don't keep our yards up, how the prices of the houses are going to go down. But yet you tore up everything out here months ago. Now, I'm on correspondence, which you can cross me off. What I'm trying to say here is Susan's saying, okay, well, we can take $9,000 that didn't get used. For as long as I've lived here, anytime anybody mentions something that should be done, if it was money that we didn't have, we were always told we couldn't take it from somewhere else. That's something that I just got into right now. My problem is mainly we're spending too much money, way more than what we have to, on plants and things like that that may die, because if we can't take care of our entrances, I don't know who's supposed to take care of them. I don't know if there's water out there. All I know is they look like crap and we spent money on them. Now we're going to do it again for here. And the main thing that I want to say, and I know everybody's probably going to laugh and they don't give a crap, but when you have people that have to move out of their house because they have a roof that's leaking and they have to take down the tarp because it's been up too many months, but the board and the community here can rip up everything that we ripped up out there and then tell us, oh, well, it's a blueprint. It's going to take a while to get it taken care of and get the plants growing. Now you're telling us it may take even more months. The stuff should have never been dug up until it was ready to be put back down.
Thank you, Dale. Ellie?
I just want to address the agenda item where.
We can hardly hear you, Ellie.
Oh, microphone closer.
Oh, okay? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you for telling me that, because I'm always telling everybody else. Okay, I'm questioning the quotes that we're having trouble finding with the landscaping, and it's put right here on here. And it says 3 seasons, 27,304. Duval, 26,313. Millennium, 16,531. So we're saying that you have voted for the 3 seasons, which over here says it's the highest bid here.
Ellie, Duval did not give us a complete bid. That's why that number is low. Millennium, I'm sorry. Millennium, the 16,531 did not include all of the materials. It was not an apple to apple.
It didn't follow the.
It was not a complete estimate. We received it this week. So we have an actual 27,305 from that 50 and 50 cents is their updated bid. But also, 3 Seasons has come to us and told us that if we will postpone the installation for another month and a half, 2 months, sorry, till October, when things are a little bit cooler for them to work and they have more employees and things are less stressful, they will discount their bid.
And come down to, what was it, 15,000?
24, 709?
We're talking about
$27.
Repeat that, please.
27,027. No, $20,027.
For 3 seasons, went down to 21,000.
24,000.
And I had my hearing aids in too.
$7.
24,400.
$24,027, Ellie. That's if we wait until October. The bid from Millennium for $16,000 and some odd dollars did not include labor and sod and mulch. That was only the plants. So you're looking at plant costs of $16,000.
So if you went with Duval, is that pretty similar to what Three Seasons is offering? So you wouldn't have to wait until October to do the whole thing at one time, and thinking about breaking it up to me that's what happened with the pool. It wasn't a complete plan to start with, and so now we're breaking it all up. So I'm saying here with Duval now, 26,313 compared to 24,000, right? So,
Correct.
but you would get it done sooner. Maybe. Oh, so they don't give a target date? I mean, does the contract, did you say, well, if you.
We don't have any dates for any of them, other than Millennium in October for a reduced amount.
No, 3 seasons.
3 seasons,
Three
sorry.
seasons. And you you don't negotiate with Duval? I don't know, you know, I mean, it seems like Three Seasons, you know, they've been with us forever, you know, and done a good job, I guess. Indeed,
Ellie, one of the advantages of going with Three Seasons, actually two. One is they will more than likely be our landscape people yet, and will help maintain this appearance. Second of all, the gentleman that drew up our plans that is also said that he would work with Three Seasons if they got the contract to install.
all right, so then you're saying you're going with Three Seasons, and these figures here were
We haven't
incorrect.
voted yet, Ellie.
We're still discussing.
All right, but I'd like to see it done sooner than later, personally speaking. I don't know enough about plants to give any information on that. I just plant them and they grow on their own. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ellie.
Ian,
Yellow Sago 14116. This isn't specific to your plans or what contractor you're gonna vote on. I just want to make a comment. When I was chairperson of Planning and Zoning Commission in a small town in Maryland, we had to abide by EPA rules and regulations. And raw dirt was never to be left like we have out here. Within so many days, it had to be seeded or stabilized. Stabilized could have been straw thrown over it. And now I'm sure you're not in compliance with EPA rules. But that's something else by postponing this and postponing it to consider. Thank you, Ian.
Patty?
Tricia French, Wiselook, 7024-13806. Three Seasons is a known entity. And when I was on the board, we decided to review all the contracts and we brought in another contractor. Well, it was a disaster and we went back to Three Seasons. They know us well, and they do good work. And they're here when we need them in emergencies for trees and things like that. The other thing is, this is our jewel. This clubhouse, the pool, the surrounding areas, this is what sells Timber Oaks. So trying to say, well, let's save $1,000 here and $1,000 there isn't going to cut it. We need to bring it up and make it look really good and spend the money that's needed. A budget is only a snapshot in time. And one time, the entire finance committee went to a reserve study meeting, and Sue came with us. And the person giving the lecture said, and how many people here have fully funded reserves? Only Timber Oaks raised their hands. And the people in the room were shocked. And the gentleman sitting behind me said, how can you afford it? And my answer was, how can you afford not to? That's the reason you save the money. This front hasn't been done since about 2008, 2009, in that time frame. And it's time to do it again, so do it right. Don't do it cheap. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
So I'd like to answer Dale's question. When we say there's not money, the only place we will say that is in the reserves. Because the reserves it's only for certain things. And that's where we put money every month into the reserves. When we're working on stuff that comes out of the general fund, for another word, for operating expenses, the budget is a guide. We have the money to do this. And as Patty was saying, this is the main thing that attracts people. When they come up and look at the clubhouse and at the pool. And I think I've made the motion to go with October with 3 seasons. 1, because it's the least amount, and 2, because we know them. And we know them, and we know that they do good work. And if they're planting these plants and then have to take care of them, they're going to be the ones that make sure that they grow. And they'll know when to do something and when not to. None of us are experts. These are the people who are the experts.
I just want to make 2 quick comments. I wouldn't care if you had $30,000 right now to do our entrances and you spent every penny of it, and then you had to borrow $9,000 from somewhere else. If it's going to look nice and it's going to stay looking nice months from now. I agree with everything Patty just said, but our entrances to me are just as important as the front of our clubhouse. And if we can't keep our damn entrances looking nice, then all that money is being wasted. Can you tell me that we're going to clean up our entrances, make them pretty, which is the first thing people see when they come in here, and keep them nice? Is there even water going to them? Because Jasmine, every time I come by there, I said, God, I wish realtors would go a different way.
There's no water there.
There's no water there. So there you go.
But there's water
here.
Water at our entrance.
Are 3 seasons taking care of the entrance? Who's doing that? Anyone?
3 seasons, but we never. Okay, the entrances are the entrances by the monuments and all that, which is our side. Those are not bad. It's the island that doesn't look like it should.
I disagree.
And that's because one
side doesn't look right.
That's because the plants that were there when they first were put in were gorgeous. It really looked nice. And then people stole them. And we have not, we weren't going to replace them with what we had because they'll steal them again.
But they don't steal from other communities. I don't understand this.
Do you know that for sure?
I don't know. Well, then they must be replacing them because some of the ones I pass are beautiful flowers. Flowers, color.
Annuals.
I don't care what they are.
John,
They make their entrances look nice.
Well, wow, they're out.
John.
Well, May, to speak to some of what you said, the problem areas are the islands at the entrances and the islands throughout the community. We don't own any of the islands. And so at La Madeira, we own the 2 corners and they're decent. They could be improved, but they're decent, right? The island that we don't own, that needs work, but we don't own it. The island at Jasmine, we don't own any real estate out there. We don't own the corners. We don't own the island.
You're saying where we have our sign for Timber Oaks, we don't own that at all.
We don't own that real estate.
Donna.
I have a question for you, John. Who does maintain the island areas out there by the signs like at La Madeira and stuff?
3 seasons.
3 seasons.
Real quick, I think you should amend that to have it done now, not October. Because you're gonna end up in November or December, it won't happen in October.
Thanks for your input. Okay, we do have a motion on the floor. Would you,
The contract for 3 seasons for the clubhouse landscaping project to begin in October in the amount of $24,027 payable from the operating account entrance improvements.
okay. Do we want to do a roll call vote? Oh, Donna, sorry.
Is there any way to add that amendment in there that maybe, we can relook at the plants and everything as far as the quantity and stuff too?
I agree with that. I don't think we need to put as many, see, you're saying the one who did the plan, the architect who did the plan, will work with 3 seasons. I think we need to reduce some of the plants.
Because I don't have a problem going with 3 seasons as far as.
But they will, but these plants, especially, look at all the rain we've had. I mean, the plants that I have at home I have a tropical jungle anymore.
I know, I do too.
So I think we need to cut down. I know it will look, full and lush right from the start, but eventually it will be too much.
Yeah, may I make a suggestion? So if we approve this motion and then talk with 3 seasons and the art about, can we do this? I really don't think it's gonna reduce the price very much, but we can talk with them about it. But until we do that, until we approve some, but we don't have.
Well, I noticed we have one palm in here that's like a lot of money. The Sylvester palm. And we talked with Jennifer about where that is going, and I think, $18.50 for one palm is a lot of money. Things like that, I think we can go smaller, or I'm sure it would be a statement, but the other end of that is it's on the end in the front where you come in and the oak trees are there. So I think I have no problem with the motion, but I think it needs to be amended or changed so that we talk with the architect and 3 seasons about reducing some of the plants.
That's okay. That's okay. May I make a suggestion then? That we say we would like to go with 3 seasons for no more than this amount to be discussed with them as to reducing the quantity of plants?
Yes.
Or size? Does that's with everyone well?
Yeah. I'll change my motion to that and.
I'm shaking your head already. I'm sorry.
Restate it. Or do you want to?
Either Sue can restate it, or Debbie, if you have a better way of saying it for us.
John,
What's the dollar amount we're looking for? I mean, that's all Debbie needs is the dollar amount not to exceed.
4,027.
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed the original bid.
No, that's where we are now, but we're trying to reduce the amount, right?
Right.
So you want to approve it based on a lesser amount. What's the lesser amount?
No, we want to approve it without going higher.
We don't want to go, we do not want to exceed that amount.
But if we can reduce it, we'll reduce it.
So you're suggesting to basically to approve Sue's motion at $24,027 with an effort to bring the number down.
Right.
So you don't want to put a dollar amount. We're just going to try to make it.
Right. If we can save $1,000, we save 1,000.
Okay. Please don't talk.
Can we call for the vote?
I'm waiting for her to finish.
I'll just take the roll call.
Okay.
Madam President, may I hear the motion again as amended?
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna contract for 3 seasons for clubhouse landscaping project to begin in October with the amount not to exceed $24,027 payable from the operating account entrance improvements with discussion on the reduced cost, with discussion on reducing the cost and the amount of plants placed.
Someone needs the mic.
Thank you.
I have Donna Mosier,
I agree.
Ed Weiner,
Yes.
Susan Muniak,
Yes.
Lemay Nyford,
Yes.
Brenda Owens,
Yes.
Jennifer Smiley,
Yes.
Beverly Hasty.
Yes.
What did you vote on?
We are voting to go with 3 seasons. The price will not go over the $24,027. And we will talk to him about reducing the amount of plants to see if we get a little off.
And what's the start date?
In October.
October. Okay, moving right along. I'd like to finish unfinished business and then we'll take a 5-minute break. Maintenance building. Update on sewer installation / wood shop move. John.
So, as I was stating earlier, I don't think, I think we're done with the topic of the sewer installation. We completed that at the last meeting. There was just email conversation amongst board members about, making the move official. Or not moving, you know.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we, at this time, not move the wood shop.
Second.
Any questions on the board? From the board? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 10521 Mira Vista Drive. I have an update on that I'm going to read from the attorney. Alleged criminal activity in Timber Oaks neighborhood. Thank you for bringing this matter to our attention. You've informed us that some members of the community have alleged that one or more houses in Timber Oaks are being used as drug houses or are being used for other criminal activity. You've also informed us that some members of the community have informed the sheriff's office of their suspicions regarding possible criminal activity in specific houses in Timber Oaks. You've also informed us that the association's board of directors does not have the evidence necessary to conclude that one or more specific houses in Timber Oaks are being used as drug houses or are being used for other criminal activity. You have asked us for an opinion regarding what the board should do about these allegations. Because the association's board does not have the evidence necessary to conclude that one or more specific houses in Timber Oaks are being used as drug houses or are being used for other criminal activity, the board should not attempt to take any type of enforcement action against the owners of these houses or their tenants. Without evidence of a violation of the declaration, the board cannot fine the owner or tenant, cannot suspend their right to use the common areas or the senior community center, and the association cannot obtain a court injunction ordering the owner or tenant to stop doing something that the association cannot prove they are doing. This is a matter for the sheriff's department to decide whether or not it wants to investigate. As stated above, you had informed us that some members of the community have already informed the sheriff's office of their suspicions. The board should let the sheriff's department handle this matter. If an individual association member, including such members serving on the board, learn of credible evidence that they want to share with the sheriff's department, then that is their own individual choice. It's possible that the sheriff's department is already investigating criminal activity in the same houses where Timber Oaks residents have suspected criminal activity. We do not believe the sheriff's department would tell you anything about an ongoing investigation. Such a disclosure could compromise the entire investigation. Therefore, at this time, our recommendation is that the board should trust that the sheriff's department is doing its due diligence and that the board should leave the matter in the hands of the sheriff's department. Donna?
I did go down and I talked to the sheriff's office myself, let them know that I was a board member and we were concerned about this. I showed them the pictures of all the cars that's coming in and out, but they still basically, they sent me to an email address and nobody has bothered to respond. This is a matter with the sheriff's department. They are not doing their job. We have done all that we can do as board members, and I'm sorry, we've done all we can do. The only thing that I can say is it's going to take each of the homeowners constantly bombarding that sheriff's department saying, look, I want to make a complaint. And maybe after a while, they'll get off their tails and they'll do something. We don't know that they're not doing something and they're waiting to catch the bigger person.
You guys done?
No,
Okay.
your, part of this is during correspondence.
No, I'm speaking to what you just brought up.
Okay, go ahead.
Karen Luciola, Casuarina Drive. I'm dismayed that you do not pull out the nuisance clause. This has nothing to do with the alleged drug activity. You are the board. You are to keep our elderly people in our community, our residents, safe and healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally. That is your job. You did not have to bring up the drug stuff. We don't know what they're doing, but if they're even selling Tupperware, if they've got 27 cars in there in one day, the neighbors have a problem. And it's up to you as board members to let them know that whatever they are doing, I don't care if they're in there blowing up balloons. It's a problem.
When I talked to the sheriff's office, I did not specifically say that this is a drug activity.
It doesn't matter. They're not, they've got everything they need. And they told me it could take 10 years, okay? Those people are old, they don't got 10 years, okay? So
There's nothing that they can do about the amount of cars that's coming in.
Doesn't matter, Donna, there is a nuisance clause in our covenants. You need to use it to protect the residents in our community. What is wrong with that? They're a nuisance.
Are they making a lot? To me, the nuisance is making a lot of noise.
Well, if you had 27 cars in and out of your street in 24 hours, would you consider it a nuisance? Is it a nuisance? Raise your hand if you think it's a nuisance. Well, you know what? I hope it comes to your street soon.
Exactly. Okay, I was gonna say, you're not really a
And it is. You got 4 other houses and you're just like that.
Dale Thompson, Cheetah Drive. I agree with what Karen is saying. I also agree with the police investigations. I have a lot of cops, state troopers in my family. I've been to a drug bust myself in New Jersey, and I know that they like to get the big guy. However, with that not being mentioned, first of all, Crime Stoppers is ridiculous because I've dealt with them before and they do nothing. They shouldn't even ask us to report anything. My part that I'm pissed off about is if people came to you and said, Dale Thompson is running an overweight, over-the-hill prostitution out of her house, do you really think you'd call the attorney and say, what can you do about it? I bet you'd find a way to come and let me know it shouldn't be being done. People have came to the last meeting that have found hypodermic needles. Hypodermic needles. We're not making this up. Without involving.
I know you're not making it up.
Yes.
Understand.
No one's doubting.
Okay, as a board, as a community, has anyone knocked on the door and said, listen, you live in our community, we're a little bit concerned, people are telling us something's going on. Has anybody even went there to even just talk to the people that live there? Do they live there? Are they renting? Does anybody know what the deal is, or are we just hoping that the cops do something which we know they're not?
The sheriff said that they have been to the door.
They have been. Why hasn't anybody from Timber Oaks? You know why nobody from Timber Oaks has gone to the door? Because they don't want to get their head blown off, and that's a possibility.
I mean, I'm sorry, Dale, but there's no way I would go and knock on that door. And I don't know what we can do. You know, Donna went down and tried to talk to them.
We have a covenant for nuisance.
A letter's gonna do a lot of good.
But if they aren't even listening to anyone around them, they're not gonna listen to a letter from the board. I don't know what do we put in there? You have too many cars coming?
They're a nuisance, that's right.
You're a nuisance, and we're gonna find you.
Too many cars.
Okay, so but what?
Timber Oaks.
And we're gonna send them a letter and then what? They aren't listening to you. They're threatening, you know, people who stop them or who say, slow down. I mean,
A letter isn't going to help.
a letter from us that you have too many cars coming? I don't know. And honestly, I would be frustrated too. I don't know what to tell you.
None of us do.
The fact that Donna went and tried to talk to them, they basically told her, there's nothing wrong with what's going on there. That's a normal amount of cars. Are you kidding me?
Well, I just hope it comes to everybody's street near them because we are a soft touch. We are known now as a soft touch community.
You can move into Timber Oaks and deal with
That's right.
I understand where they're coming from, but there's still gotta be something.
You have something to
Well,
say?
somebody had mentioned about background check, I'm sorry. Somebody had mentioned about background checks, and I talked to the sheriff about that too. Problem with that is, all right, say you have somebody that's done their time, and they want to try to move in here, and you do a background check on them. You've got a violation against their rights because they've served their time. Now, we can keep getting a bunch of letters and everything about that with doing background checks. So legally, we can't even do that.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Doreen Calvis. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, my name is Doreen Calvis, and I live on Tapestry Drive. You're talking about homeowners moving in here that deal drugs. You didn't take care of a problem that the homeowner rented out a room to a convicted criminal who moved in and was selling meth. You have control over renters. You may not have the control over the homeowners. And I don't think any one of you up there understand what went on the last 8 months with Anne Marie Roy. She has been renting out her rooms. This guy has allowed it to happen. Is my time up?
No.
Okay.
No,
Well, you certainly have control over people who rent out their bedrooms and are totally no compliance at all. No written consent to the board, no 8 weeks, extending over 8 weeks. I mean, there were multiple reasons you could have taken action and you refused to. Well, here's my comment to you. I may have lost round 1, but those documents are in the state and in the county now, and I'm going to pursue more and more action. I refuse to live next to a house that sells drugs. My safety and my family's safety comes first, and I'll fight it. I don't give a damn how much it's going to cost me.
Thank you for your input. I do want to say that we actually have to have proof.
I've given you proof. I've given you pictures.
Where you've seen him.
I've given you documentation this thick of criminal records from Pasco County, Spring Hill, and the state police.
I believe
This is
that.
a renter. This is a renter. This should be dealt differently than a homeowner. He shouldn't have been there to begin with. She never got board approval to have anybody else living in that house. She never submitted any paperwork. This is her 12th renter in there.
So I believe we had the one person taken out of there.
After 8 months.
Oh, it takes time.
You know what? We needed absolute proof.
I sent him, I hand delivered a manila envelope this thick with documentation. I tried to send him pictures, he declined. I sent him emails. I sent Ann's here, Chris is here. They both live on Tapestry Drive. We've had to put up with this since the day she moved in.
And that person was evicted from that house. That person is are you telling me that person is back?
I'm telling you, she keeps renting out her bedroom, and she picks these people up over the internet and the local bars, and they're all criminals. They're all criminals. The one before last, when I talked to him and said that I'm investigating, within 24 hours, he was gone.
I have heard of other instances where the people have rented out their homes to people and nothing has been notified to the office that these people are renting these houses.
She's not renting the house.
No. I'm not talking about your situation. I'm talking about there's other situations in here where the people have rented out their house and the office has no clue that this house has been rented out. And I think that we need to check more into houses that are being rented out in here.
We have asked for the lease agreements from the realtors that are renting out these houses. John?
So just for a point of clarity, we currently, in the office or in the board's possession, we currently have no written detailed complaint that's been submitted for board review. There's none. Every detailed written complaint that's been submitted has been reviewed by the board, and where action was appropriate, action has been taken. We are not sitting on any complaints that's been submitted.
Am I clear to talk?
Yes, your turn to talk.
In concern of needing proof for this house, my husband and I both drove by there one night, not looking for anything, just whizzed on our golf cart, riding around the community. We saw money exchanged. Now, you say you want proof? What are we supposed to do? Turn around and say, could you stop for a minute, let us take your picture? I mean, that's a little ridiculous. But we did see the exchange of money. Now, what they was exchanging it for, have no proof of that. But we did see money exchanged.
It could have been, I borrowed $10 from you and I gave you 10 back.
Second thing, when Donna was talking about the background checks, where we used to live in Polk County, we had to have background checks. And we moved from one house to another house, and we had to pay the second time. Because as they said, we don't know what you've done in the 3 years you've lived here. You might be a criminal. So we had to pay a second background check. So I think it is important, maybe not doing background checks, but we we had to pay for that out of our own pockets. So I think there needs to be something else done. But as far as that house, there's a lot of activity going on there. We live around the corner from there, so we know what's going on.
Thank you for your input.
Someone down here, Gary.
I just wanted to make a statement in regards to issues that involve the senior community. I feel like I'm getting daggers shot at me, and I have no say-so whatsoever in the senior community. So I would appreciate it if when you're addressing the board and it affects the senior community, that we address it as such, because I have zero say-so in what happens in the senior community. And I've heard 3 or 4 times already this morning, all of you up there on the board, and it doesn't affect all of us up here on the board. So please, when you're addressing the board in the manner you're doing today, please address the senior community, because I have zero say-so in the senior community.
Okay, you may have zero say-so, but you live in Timber Oaks, even if you are a separate Driftwood non-senior community, you're still in Timber Oaks.
That's true, but I can't go do anything about this. I have zero say-so in the senior community.
Donna, one other thing about the background checks. Even this guy at Mira Vista, whatever, if, say he did a background check and he came out clean, but then he's sitting there selling drugs, what are you supposed to do if he passed a background check?
Well, at least have it, it might eliminate some of the problems.
Okay, we're gonna take a 5-minute break and then come back and finish the new business.
I did graduation, Ellen. I know it I gotta get out of there. So many things.
Good thing is, we don't.
Somebody in
He's over 22. So I can't buy him.
Well, if we had pallets, we'd find out what we had before we could even figure it out. That stuff is so overgrown. They just don't get it, but that's I know. It's not a popularity place. You're kicking off here. You've been here. That's why I do. Yeah. Yeah, they're just mass. Yeah, but that's like Diane told me down there. What time do you miss here?
Right, so the question. Either they come.
1 minute warning, we're going to start the meeting again.
Okay. We're gonna, I need. Right. I have to get today.
You already did.
The meeting will now come to order. The meeting will now come to order. Thank you. New business. Open house for the Christmas party. We need to have a budget so that Connie and the Live Oaks people can figure out what they're gonna do. So, that being said, do we have any ideas for a budget up here on the board? Ellie, the meeting is going on. Thank you.
I have a question. Who normally pays for this Christmas party? How is it done? I thought it was through Toxa. Does Toxa?
Toxa pays for it, but Live Oaks manages it. So we, as Toxa, should give them a budget and they can't go over it.
Question,
Yes, sorry,
what was the budget the last time we did it?
5,000.
5,000?
Donna? Oh, I'm sorry, you have more, wait, yes, more.
So in looking at prices since then, because I know we didn't do it last year because of COVID, so it's been 2 years. I would think we would look at some kind of an increase over that 5,000.
Probably. Donna?
Well, I did know up in microphone.
Okay, I do know that I've been in work with Connie on this. Things have just practically doubled. And no, but I think right now we're looking at about $7,000, is the estimates that we've been getting.
Is it 502 now? Sue? Under admin, for entertainment?
No, it was, there's another.
We're looking to see what number it comes, what account it comes out of.
I know before this was quite an elaborate
I don't think we.
thing. I don't think we need to do as elaborate as we have done it in the past.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of waste. And a lot of-
Right.
And with COVID coming back and having this place packed with all the residents is, sorry.
I think we need to scale it back. I don't think that we need to go as quite as grand as we have in the past. I think there's historically been a lot of waste because I know people that have worked in the kitchen that have taken a lot of food home. I think also with this COVID variants striking Florida as much as it is, even though the majority of us are immunized, I don't know that we want to pack this building with the residents in that manner. That's, there again, that's my opinion.
I think it's really popular.
Oh, I know.
Okay, there, LeMay.
The only thing I'm saying is if we're going to plan it, we have to plan it as if it's going to happen normally.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it does or not at this point in the game, we don't know. I think as far as the grand part, we're talking more of the food, like the crab and and all of that. I mean, yeah. The majority of us come just to get together with everyone and see everyone at the holidays. So I think that's the main reason for it.
Yeah.
President, may I make a comment, please?
Yes, Brenda.
Go ahead, Brenda.
I was wondering if the committee that took on the dance open house, if they have created what they want to do and estimated cost to do that?
No, they've looked at a couple of things, but, excuse me, I've been asked by Connie Arneman, the president of Live Oaks, to give them a budget so they can figure out what they can get for what they can spend. Donna?
In that, we've had anywhere from, you were talking about scaling down, we've had it where it's simple barbecue to ham and turkey buffets, and we're still coming out at about the same amount of money.
So,
same amount of money being $5,000?
No, meaning 7,000.
What about scaling it back so that there is not as much food and do cookies and punch, or cookies and coffee and punch? Because I know we have a lot of coffee drinkers. Then the choraleers, if they're meeting, they can still do the singing. We can still have the decorations, up. But do we all need a meal? What was that?
Well, that was the point of getting a budget, so we know whether we could scale back, should just scale back to that.
We're just trying to figure out a budget, not what we're having. The Live Oaks board will take care of that. So, we just need to give them a budget. 400 at least.
We figured for 500 this year.
400 to 500 usually. Okay, Connie, you have some comments?
Yes, I do. And I like Sue's idea of scaling back, especially this year. I don't see anything wrong with throwing out a cookie and a glass of wine. Oh yeah, beer and coffee. And why not? Because like May said, most of the reason people come is to get together and kind of a little celebration for the kicking off the holidays. And that food spread that she used to put out, it was amazing. And it was an amazing spread of food, but it was a lot of food and a lot of, work to put it all out, and the cost, I just think is on money, especially this year with the cost going up. So whatever you want to spend, we'll work with it.
Do you have a recommendation, what you'd like to work with? We don't want to give you too little.
Well, Publix has a 44-page catering booklet. And we could pick some items from that even, or even do less. We could just absolutely do just pastries and cookies.
How about key sandwiches?
Or we could do some small sandwiches. More like an hors d'oeuvre.
Cheese, kind of what you do it at.
So the last time, our reference was $5,000.
And that was for all that.
For all that food.
Great food.
Yeah. And we know if we did that, it would probably be closer to 10. So, do you have an idea if we scale back what you would need?
You want to just stay with the 5,000? We'll work with that, or lower.
Yeah, and if you can save, that's a good thing.
Not to exceed 5.
Not to exceed 5. Okay. I think that would be something that, because right now what we've looked at is 6,500, 7,000.
I think we could scale
And
back
I
this
just
year.
don't think we need all that food. We get a lot of.
I need a motion.
Thank you.
Jennifer.
I'd like to make a motion.
I'm sorry, I didn't see the, okay. Dale. Yeah, we have to, I'm sorry, Dale, we have to make a motion so we can discuss it.
I make a motion that we allocate $5,000 to Live Oaks, not to exceed $5,000 to Live Oaks for the open house / Christmas holiday party.
A second.
Okay, now we can discuss it, Dale.
All right, Dale Thompson and Cheetah Drive. This is just my opinion. Christmas comes once a year. It's my favorite time of the year. Anybody that has ever gone to a Live Oaks meeting or even come to Coffee Clutch has had a great spread of food. If you want to just get together, like LeMay said, to meet your friends and stuff like that, come to the Christmas dance or whatever. I come to the Christmas party because the food is fantastic. And if you're taking that away and going with cookies and coffee, I think you're going to lose a lot of people. Now, that's just my opinion. Like I said, the Live Oaks at night, oh my gosh, you go there for the food and the wine. And Coffee Clutch, you go for the coffee and all that big spread of food. If you're cutting back on the Christmas party that's once a year, as far as I'm concerned, save the money and don't even have it. We'll just go to a Christmas dance.
Thank you, Dale. Eileen.
I think you should give them, is this thing on?
Yeah.
Okay, I think you should give them some more money because of inflation and give them up to $7,000 and they can buy some decent meat instead of just coffee and beer. I mean, I think it should be a Christmas dinner for people in the community because that's what we've always done and people look forward to that. And it is just once a year. And that's just my opinion.
Okay. Brenda?
Sorry, it's very hard for me to hear. I can hear other people talking in the background, so I can't hear the speaker. But I would like to make a comment regarding the party. I think it would be a great idea if the committee growing the party could send out or set up different agendas. One for cookies and coffee, one for light hors d'oeuvres, one for full meal, and tell us what the prices are going to be. And then we can select and set those up there.
Thank you, Brenda. LeMay, you have something?
I don't think we need to increase the amount because we're not going to be doing, as we did other years, seafood and carving stations. That doesn't mean we're just going to have cookies and beer and wine. I mean, there's plenty of things you can buy for $5,000, but instead of doing a full meal like we did and wasted a lot of it, we can do hors d'oeuvres, or I'm sure Live Oaks will do more than cookies and wine. So it's up to them what they do, but we've always had a nice spread. They've always done a good job with it. And at $5,000, that's a lot of money.
Okay, are there any more comments or suggestions? Ellie?
I agree with Connie on that. Go to Publix, pick a big, and it'll cost $5,000 even for hors d'oeuvres and whatever. But it's gotten out of hand over the years because I'm here forever. I've seen it escalate every year, getting more and more and more. And it's a lot of work. I've worked on the committees for that, and it takes a lot of planning, a lot of work to be done. So, and that sometimes less is better, and it's a little classier, and it shouldn't be food all the time. So I have to agree with those. And you probably would, the motion you made, did you make it for 5,000 or 6,500?
5,000, not to exceed 5,000.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so for 5,000, you should be able to do it with a little sandwiches, a little, hors d'oeuvres cost, but Connie and them will be able to handle it. But I think, we used to have entertainment as opposed to food, and it was punch and cookies and whatnot. We've become more sophisticated with having wine, okay? But, I would say, let's do away with all that food.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion, on the floor. Could you just read that motion again? Thank you.
to approve expenditures not to exceed $5,000 for the 2021 holiday open house event sponsored by Thompson.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passed. Connie, you have a $5,000 budget. Okay. Property management. We want to have a review of the existing contract and potential replacements. I would like to see us start by having resource management, the owners, come in so that we can explain or tell them what our complaints are. Also to find out what their duties are and what they charge for, so that we can have a better idea of to compare if we're going to look at other, which is what some people want to do, look at other management companies. So Debbie has paperwork on what has been done in the past. So I'm suggesting that we have a ad hoc committee of the board, some of the board members that would like to be involved in this. Anybody on the board? Okay, Ed? And LeMay? You want it? Sure. Jen? Anyone else? That's 4, so we can't really do more than that. Okay, you will check with Debbie and see what has to be done. Okay, financials. The collection policy, that would be Sue.
Yes, that would be Sue. All right. The state law has changed on collections. There's a little bit more. It has to be this many days, whatever. Resource gave us gave me a blank form that was a general form. I just changed it so it would be, say, Timber Oaks instead of association name. And I put in it's 30 days after the due date. If you look at the second, page, well, it starts on the overview. First, we have the assessment. Excuse me. Late fee assessed. First reminder notice mailed after grace period, which is 30 days elapsed, allowing 30 days from the date of the notice to pay the amount due. After the initial 30-day period, a second notice. Which is an intent to lien will be sent, certified mail. Per Florida statute, allowing 45 days from the date of the second notice to pay amounts owed. After the 45 days, and the intent to lien notice has been received and no action by the homeowner has been taken, a payment ledger will be forwarded to the manager board, authorizing to submit the account to the association's attorney, and then the attorney will notify the board for authorization for foreclosures or other actions which may be warranted. It's really very similar to this process we're using right now. It's just that we had to change it because the state decided to change it.
So
I'll
this
make a
meets
motion.
the updated requirements of the state.
Yeah, I will make a motion that we adopt the collection procedure for as you have in the.
Are there any board questions? Okay, can we take a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, now we have foreclosure referrals.
Okay, do we want to do these each one at a time for each address? Or do you want to do them all together?
We can, oops, we've lost Brenda. Can we lump it?
Or, yeah, we can lump them, but you'll have to sign it each one separately. Okay, we have 4 properties. Let's wait to see if Brenda.
Hold on. Thank you.
Okay, we have 4 properties that Mangan has suggested that we put the lien to foreclosure. And they are, and I'll make the motion that these 4 houses have to go to Mangan for a lien of foreclosure. There's one at 11140 Pepper Tree Lane. There's one for 10925 Casa Grande. There's one for 11210 Carriage Hill Drive, number 4. And the last one, turn the page, is 8611 Woodcrest Drive. Well, I make the motion, we send them to and pay Mangan the $750 per house that is in foreclosure, or that we're gonna lien.
Donna, so did you list the one at Pepper Tree Lane?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't hear that one,
Okay,
sorry.
please.
Second your motion.
Okay, thank you. Just gonna get to that. Is there any discussion? Okay.
Oh,
Anna Singer, 14116. I sat on the board when we voted to send to, for foreclosure, but we never hear the outcome of anything.
I was just gonna.
Okay.
Okay,
Whether
of the
people
ones
come.
that we sent to foreclosure, 3 have been completely done, which brought in to us $6,332.95. And yes, we are getting back the $750 that we front. There is one where the owner is paying as agreed that isn't totally settled yet, so we'll get it in bits and pieces. There are 2 that have court dates, one September 29th, and one was just was in August. But they are going through, there's final judgment hearings, so it is working.
Yeah, it's working. Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Eileen,
Are any of these foreclosures bank owned?
I don't know, but Mangan looks through it to see if it would be worth our while. Mangan looks at the ones that we can and should do.
So
The attorney, their foreclosure attorney, they have an attorney that works on the foreclosures. And they're the ones who suggested to us.
So she's suggesting that we foreclose on these ones. She's assuming that we will be able to get our money.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, would you,
sorry, would you read the motion, please? Clarify it. Thank you.
okay,
to approve the authorization of Macon Law Group to represent Timber Oaks Community Association in regards to foreclosing claim or lien on properties presented at this meeting with a fee of $750 per case.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Let's see, clubhouse repair, proposal for the stucco repair. John, would you do that, please?
So, I'm not sure if we call this the northern end of the building, but basically the billiard end, about 1/3 of that of the building, the end and the two sides of the billiard room and coming down towards, on the Ponderosa side, towards that first entrance, and on the other side, basically down to the pool fence. There are stucco issues at the base where the building meets the ground, where there's just missing stucco, and it's probably been that way forever. And we became aware of the problem when the building was painted, and ever since then, we've been searching for a contractor that would correct this problem. So this is the first written proposal that we've been able to obtain to correct that problem. Our concern is water infiltration in these areas, insect and rodent entry as well, so.
So am I correct to understand you only have the one price?
They've been trying to do this since the beginning.
I think, Mark can correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the only vendor that we've even gotten to show up on site?
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So I make a motion that we, trying to see who it's from. That we approve MD Construction Pros LLC to repair the clubhouse masonry for a total of $3,860. And trying to think of words. No, I'm just trying to think of what account it should come out of. Yeah, we could do building maintenance, where there might be, I will have to look after, there might be something under the, the maintenance, the deferred maintenance category that we might want to put it under.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion from the board? Jennifer?
When we received this email from John, I came down to the clubhouse to find out what it was all about. And it's pretty severe damage that I don't think we should wait any longer on. It was shocking to see, actually. And you saw it also. Yeah, it's.
Okay, Donna?
Dire to me, I think the pricing sounds pretty reasonable too.
Okay, so,
and this might, we've had problems in the past with water in the billiard room, and this is where it was coming in.
Yeah.
So,
And we might be putting our critters in there too.
yeah, could be.
And I'll sing you 14116. I agree this has to be done. It's general maintenance. Are you gonna also increase that amount? Because it's gonna have to be painted afterwards. Will it be done in-house, or are you gonna get the contractor back in and paint this?
John, want to answer that?
Most of the work is below grade, that it probably won't be visible once they're done, but if painting is required, we'll do it in-house.
Thank you. Any more questions? Okay. Is a motion on the board, on the floor? Yeah, on the board floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Right along, virus precautions. So,
I'd like to make a motion that we post on all the doors the CDC guidelines, which say that even if you're vaccinated or not, that when you're indoors, you wear a mask. I'm not saying to mandate it, but I am saying to put it post it on the doors. It's recommended from the CDC.
That was a motion, right?
Yes, that was a motion.
Okay.
Questions?
Meg?
I think in the state of Florida, that has not, they're not going with that, and I have seen many. I noticed lately that a lot of the stores you go into or places recommend masks. If you're vaccinated, it is not required, or you don't have to follow that. And if this is a recommendation from the CDC by putting it on the doors, I mean, everyone will know this anyway. So I don't think we need to put it on our doors or post it. I think at this point, we leave things the way they are.
Ed?
The governor recently, I know who he is. We follow the rules of the state, right? CDC is the federal. And the governor has stated that. I understand that too. But the governor has stated that no one can make a rule requiring masks or shots. But I think